Since the new Modest Mouse album is a damp squib. Strangers to our swells. I thought, you know, I've talked about that. It's not actually been uploaded yet. It probably will be when this is up. We would discuss their best album. Well, basically, Modest Mouse are seen as having two highlights. They're seen as having The Moon on Antarctica, which is their breakout album, which is the one that people who got into them a bit late and like more mainstream music are into. That's sort of that's still a masterpiece, but their best album in my point of view. And you've heard both now, haven't you? And you would also agree?
I think Lonesome, Crowded West is by far the best of the two.
By far.
I think by far the best of the two.
Yes. Yeah. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, so, it's a masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece.
I'll just have to do a quick little shout out. I've never heard a singer with a lisp.
No.
Like, that's totally different. Like, the way he sings and kind of almost in this early album, he uses it as part of, like, the inclination and part of the singing. It's, you know, it's kind of cute. It's kind of cute, a bit charming. You know, it sounds really raw.
Yeah. Well, it's the opposite of polished, isn't it?
Well, it's why I think it's such a shame that, like you were saying, that on the new albums, on the newer albums, because the production's so good, they try to hide his lisp.
Well, there's a lot of multi-tracking. It's still obvious that he has a lisp, but like he'll overlay like a vocal over the top to make it slightly harder to hear.
Slightly harder to hear.
Yes. Anyway, you even said you could sort of notice it on Moon and Antarctica, didn't you?
Yeah, I could actually. Yeah. Look, that one's a little bit more polished.
Yeah.
So the Lonesome, the Crowded West is an album from the mid-90s.
It is 1997, I believe.
Yeah.
To put it into a bit of context, this would have been post sort of Nirvana, post grunge.
Yeah.
They would have been after all that stuff broke, and at the same time Modest Mouse were going, there were a lot of independent bands going at the same time who were a lot bigger and had very similar sounds. You had Built to Spill, who actually in the same year this came out delivered their Warner Brothers debut called Perfect From Now On, which is a classic. You had like Pavement and the Silver Jews, and there were absolutely like loads and loads of these like indie bands who were like breaking through. It was seen as like a time when like those kind of small town bands could have it, because everyone was basically trying to capitalise on Nirvana's success.
Yeah.
And like Pearl Jam, and they were Pearl Jam.
I know, it's got shivers.
Yeah, but a lot of people were trying to capitalise on that kind of thing. So it was known for when a lot of Death Cab for Cutie were another big one.
Oh yeah.
A lot of like bands were managing to make some headway that probably never would have done before. Like if it was like, I don't know, the 70s or something, Modest Mouse probably would never have gotten anywhere. No, but because they had this unique window where post Nirvana, loads and loads of weird sounding bands were getting in. So that's sort of, I think you can sort of hear a little bit of grunge kind of sound in this.
Yeah.
That kind of rawness, and because they were basically, I imagine that when they got a contract, I think it was Epic, who were a subdivision of Warner Brothers. When they got a contract, I imagine Epic were expecting them to deliver some kind of like Nirvana-esque crossover.
Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah, basically the 90s, like a lot of indie music was just trying to make new versions of Smells Like Teen Spirit. And to be fair, a lot of it did cross over, and there were some big hits and stuff. It wasn't a failure on their part, but
no,
it receded a lot.
Absolutely,
yeah. So, The Lonesome Crowded West came from that kind of thing, and it's like a 16-track long epic.
Yeah, it's 70 minutes. It's pretty long.
It's pretty long.
A double album.
It would have been a double album,
back
back in the day.
In fact, they actually just re-released it on vinyl.
Yeah.
As like a double set.
Yeah.
I don't know where to begin with this album. It's so.
Where to begin? Yeah, it's such a dense
album. I'm still unpacking it all.
Still unpacking it all. Well, it's been described as it's like a semi-concept album, more of a theme than like a concept album. Obviously implies there's a narrative going through them, but it's all about sort of America going into being about like loads of malls and
like boredom, like
ennui,
like a social malaise.
Yeah,
you know, like people kind of sitting around, not really doing much.
Yeah,
can't really live up to the legends, and
yeah.
So like a song like Cowboy Dan.
Yeah.
Cowboy Dan is a major player in the cowboy scene.
Yeah. Well, that's a narrative song about a guy who gets so like drunk and depressed. He drives out and faces up to God.
Yeah.
In like is it like a field or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, the lyrics are just basically establish him as just being this kind of sad loser.
Yeah.
But Cowboy Dan almost sounds like a Western hero legend.
Yeah.
So the lyrics are like, you know, Cowboy Dan is a major player in the cowboy scene.
Yeah.
Goes down to a reservation,
drinks and gets mean. Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, he really quickly establishes that this guy is a pathetic loser.
Yeah.
I think just drinks himself silly.
Yeah.
But the way he sings it and his title almost makes him like one of them old Western legends, like an old gunslinger or whatever. And the song itself is quite an epic.
Yeah.
I love the way he sings it, and like it kind of gets faster and faster and faster. It's a really complex lyric.
Yeah.
And a really complex arrangement.
Well, I think what makes that song is the way that it slows down, where it does that beat where it's like, when you think you're looking up, you're looking down.
Yeah.
And it starts all up again.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, as a song like Trailer Trash, which is I think my favourite song on the album, where the narrator finds joy in like the smallest things. It is kind of, from the sound of it, pretty shitty living space, you know. It's apparently all about the lead singer's experience of living in a trailer when he was like a little boy.
Yeah.
And you know, like lyrics like, you know, eating snowflakes with plastic forks.
Yeah.
And the paper plates you thought of everything. You know, like, oh, paper plates. Oh, that's like an amazing moment. You know, like I just wish I can get through high school.
Yeah.
I really miss you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's all like little moments of his character's life.
Yeah.
Little moments of kind of almost boring detail.
Yeah.
Which I think makes the song really work. And it's all about finding kind of almost like the beauty in the small details.
Yeah.
Which is what I really love about that song. It's a really great song.
That is a great song.
Yeah.
That's one of the absolute classics on it. I think this is an album that doesn't really have any bad songs on it.
No.
Some of the songs I don't really like as much. The one that I don't really, that always I think sticks out is that one. It's the fifth one. It's like a weird sort of. And he goes to the river and I can't remember what it's the one that has like a really prominent bit with like a banjo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's like Jesus was an only child.
Yeah. Jesus, yeah.
And it's still an alright song. I think it just sticks out a bit.
But what sticks out for me is one I mentioned earlier, which is like the Black Sabbath-esque one.
Oh yeah.
This boat has gotta be sinking.
It's a great song though.
Yeah, I like it a lot, but it really stands out compared to the others. And a song like what's it called, Truckers
Atlas is my favourite on the album.
That's a great album.
Yeah.
That is I don't know what that song is about.
It's just about a trucker who crosses the
Yeah.
lines of America.
Well, what I like about it is that there's no like, I think lyrically he's dealing with quite romantic concepts.
Yeah.
You know, like the Old West, you know, like childhood and
travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's no romanticism to it.
No.
It's quite stark. It's almost like when you hear legends about a place, you know, like you hear all the stories.
Yeah.
You see all the pictures. You like a famous monument.
Yeah.
You know, you've seen the pictures a million times. You've heard people talk about it, how it was built. And then you actually go see it, you kind of like, meh, there it is. You know.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's really weird because you should be overwhelmed because you're like, oh my god, wow, I'm seeing like the Eiffel Tower, but you've seen it a million times in photographs. It loses the appeal.
Yeah.
And I think almost Lonesome Crowded West is almost, that's one of the themes is like an album.
Yeah.
Kind of like a postmodern generation where everything's a little bit meh.
Yeah.
And it's hard to really difficult to describe. And what I like about the lyrics is how he's able to kind of capture, like I said, the small day-to-day, everyday things that you don't really pick up.
Yeah.
I managed to make him into these huge, epic, sweeping songs.